skeptical about shit. People are like, oh, this is great. I'm like, it's okay. Anyway, we're live with another episode of BS Busters. This is a special cast because I didn't think we would have it, but fuck it, let's run into it. We'll be like Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live, damn it! Ah! Like he's having a stroke. We'll do it live. It's like, why are you cursing, dude? I mean, you're not a like. Here's the thing: if you're a good, like, if a really good-looking person has a bad attitude, you can kind of let some shit slide. You know what I mean? Because they're good-looking. But when you're ugly and you got a bad attitude, it's like you really have no room to have a bad attitude and look like that, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing about, people want to act like looks. Oh, looks don't matter. Looks shouldn't. I mean, they do matter to the what. Especially when it comes to television.
Man, don't get melancholy with me. If you went up to a hot woman and you were talking to her, right? And she said, "Man, quit the bullshit." and she said, "Now come back to my room and fuck me." You'd be like, "Okay, well, that's I got to do that. She's really good looking." but if an ugly woman who was visibly unattractive said the same thing, you'd be like, "Ugh, get away from me." I'm offended. Or whatever your sexual preferences may be, whatever you find desirable. My point is this: good-looking people can get away with more shit than ugly people. Okay?
That's true.
A good-looking woman can have a bad attitude to a point, and people will be like, well, especially men, it's like, well, I kind of let it slide because she's good-looking. An ugly woman have a bad attitude, be like, bitch, why you got this badass attitude? Get out of my face. Go sit over there.
Yeah, that is true. I mean that's just the way things work.
Yeah. I know people gonna get mad. Oh, how could you say that? It's the truth. Like that movie with Will Smith, Concussion. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. But anyway, so this is kind of an impromptu cast. I guess we can meld what I was going to do last week, what I moved to next last week. So basically, we're just discussing general gaming news and talking about our favorite horror movies and video games and more. Some general news that kind of scares me a little bit. Like you know, The Sims 5 coming out. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I mean, looking at more shit that they can rip out of that franchise and sell to you later on as a extra thing. CD Projekt Red is remaking the first Witcher.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's being rebuilt in. It's being rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, the game is kind of broken. So
What, the first Witcher? The first Witcher.
That's not broken. It's just weird.
The first Witcher was CD Projekt Red trying to ape BioWare.
Yeah.
But it was like a single player BioWare game. And that game is really hard to get into because the controls are awkward. It's like, even though I don't think, like, I think that Bethesda's overrated, I think that their open world single player RPGs are the most approachable open world single player RPGs on PC. Because the alternate is like Gothic, which is fucking trash. Those controls are so bad.
Yeah.
And between in two worlds and all that type of shit, which are hard to play. So The Witcher is one of those games where it's like, I want to like this game, but for some reason it keeps on getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And I have The Witcher 3, and it is hard. It's hard to fucking play. It's so hard to play.
Yeah.
That game is rough.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the first Witcher game is really hard to get into. You have to have the patience of a saint.
Yep.
You know?
The Witcher 2 is better, but not by much. you know. the first Witcher is 40% of a good game, the second Witcher is like 20% of a is 50% more, but that's still 60%. That's still not that's still not great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't really like this game that much. I know some people are going to be like, how could you say that? I'm just saying it's not great.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, The Witcher is being remade in Unreal Engine 5. I don't know if that's good or not. Um, but to keep it moving, um, some more bad news for some people. I guess it's bad news. I guess some people would call this bad news. The Rocksteady co-founders are leaving the studio just months ahead of the Suicide Squad release.
Well, it sounds like bad news. The game
Yeah.
probably isn't doing very well.
Well, that
Development probably.
might be okay, but it doesn't bode well for the future of Rocksteady. Let me put it that way. I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? I am not filled with I am not engendered by a feeling of how can I put this? Um I how can I put this nicely? I don't necessarily how can I put I'm not engendered by a feeling of confidence.
Yeah, that game's been canceled. Not canceled, but delayed several times already.
You know,
Um,
I'm not confident that it's going to be good. I'm not confident that it's going to be. I just don't have any confidence because, like David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers, I strongly believe that this motherfucker is tanking the stock so he can sell it to Comcast or CBS Universal and get the fuck out of there. And that's my personal opinion. Do I have any proof of that? No, but makes sense, don't it?
yeah.
Um,
Also, I don't know too much about that, so I can't tell you one way or the other.
well, I mean, the only reason I'm saying that it makes sense is because it's too it's too pat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything is too, and how this dude is just continuously just tanking everything.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm just some guy, but
Yes, some guy.
I'm just some guy. But anyway, it's this is the Halloween cast. So, are there any scary movies or anything like that you've been looking forward to, wanting to see, or anything like that, or you just don't care? It's whatever.
I'm just not interested. I've never really been a fan of horror movies.
Huh.
Never been a big horror movie fan. Oh, that whole that body horror movie, Future Crimes looks looks interesting.
Oh,
But
that Cronenberg
I don't know if
movie.
you're gonna have the guts to see that.
That Cronenberg movie. Yeah, the thing about Cronenberg is like I'm a Cronenberg fan, and I've been watching Cronenberg a long ass time. And he is one of the masters of body horror, but his body horror typically had a purpose for the story. It wasn't just, oh,
Yeah,
we're just gonna do some fucked up shit just for fucked up shit's sake.
yeah,
Um, like you watch Scanners, which Scanners is a Cronenberg film where essentially there are these telepaths who have the ability to read people's minds, and they're called scanners. And just like anything else, some scanners are good, some scanners are fucking evil. And Michael Ironside, who in every movie he's in plays a villain, uh, he plays he plays an evil scanner, like a guy who goes around killing other scanners. And it has like Scanners has the famous scene, special effects scene where a guy's head blows up. Like Michael Ironside goes to reads another scanner's mind, and he makes his brain explode, and his head explodes at the same time. It's really it's one of the goriest effects from the 1980s. And people are like, well, how could it get worse than this? And then Cronenberg, like a few years later, did The Fly.
yeah.
Ah, yes, The Fly. Now, you'll never guess who was an executive producer on that movie.
Ooh,
Mel Brooks.
oh,
Yeah. Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks, in the same year, basically was the executive producer on two of the most well-reviewed movies of that year, The Fly and The Elephant Man. Both of which have extreme amounts of body horror.
yeah,
But The Elephant Man, because it's like about an actual dude who has like bone growths on his body that continue to grow, despite him, not they shouldn't be doing that. And The Fly, because a dude gets in a telepod and his DNA is combined with fly DNA, and he literally metamorphoses into a humanoid fly man.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's you know, Cronenberg been doing this shit a while. In Exile. Uh, Here's some news. In Exile that time it made a baby game and got swept up into a moral panic. I didn't know they made a baby game, but oh well. Here's some news. Dragon Age Dreadwolf is now fully playable from start to finish.
Dragon Age Dreadwolf.
Yeah, the new Dragon Age game that they've been working on.
Oh,
It's the follow up to Inquisition. Hopefully, it'll play better than Inquisition because Inquisition was shit. Yeah, I said it. People like, oh no, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all know Dragon Age Inquisition was hot buttered trash. It was terrible.
yeah,
And I agree that it was very bad. Dragon Age Inquisition felt like an MMO that you were playing by yourself, like where no one else was on the server.
yeah,
Which sounds boring as fuck, really, if you really want to if you really want to break it down. I mean, imagine playing an MMO where there's no one else to play with and you're just by yourself. And there's no cool
yeah,
epic quest. Everything is like, go find 5 of these, go slay 15 of these. That was like literally 85% of the quests in that game was like, go kill 5 groups of these soldiers and bring me back their weapon belt. Like, it was stupid shit like that. I'm like, and this is game of the year? For real?
yeah.
Like, uh, like I'm going to say this right now, and some people are going to get upset when they hear this. I don't mind I don't mind Game of the Years and all that type of shit. It doesn't bother me. Okay? I think there needs to be an acknowledgement of games that do something extremely well. But you need to have some type of agreed upon standard about why something is Game of the Year. It can't be just because you like it. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be metrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean.
All right. Anyway, that being said, I guess we can move on to the next topic. Here's a little bit of news. Chloe Grace Moretz, the young lady who played Hit Girl in Kick Ass and Kick Ass 2, is getting into PC gaming.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm just like, Chloe Grace Moretz is so damn cute. She was, even when she was a little kid, I'm like, oh, she's so cute. Even as an adult, it's like, oh, she's so damn cute. She's just really cute, you know. So her getting into PC gaming, I'm just like, this is it's interesting. I don't know what that's gonna do for anything. I mean, a lot of people are getting into a lot of celebrities are getting into PC gaming. Because good luck getting some of these consoles, man.
Yeah.
Like, you want a PS5, good luck with that. You might get a PS5, maybe, perhaps. But so, is there anything you want to discuss before we move on to the next topic? Any topics you're like, this has been the gaming news and no one's talked about it?
Oh, melting GPUs. Wow, melting connectors in the
Oh, you mean the Nvidia
AMD.
thing?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
GPUs catching fire, and yeah, there was a video by Jay's 2 cents, at least when the cards came out, warning about this, and now it's coming to fruition. Now it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear to me that Nvidia rushed these cards out. I don't know why. They could have waited till next year to get the bugs out, but apparently they were like, we got to get this shit out today. And I mean, clearly these cards are too powerful for the connections, for the hardware that's attached to them. That's what the issue is, I think.
That too.
They're trying to what I mean powerful. I don't mean in terms of the specs. I mean, they literally are drawing too much power from the power source, and that's what's causing. They're overloading the capacitors. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's. I mean, clearly Nvidia wanted to get the shit out there, and they didn't care. They were like, "We'll push it," and I mean, I know why. Because there's more competition. You've got Intel coming out with GPUs, and their GPUs are cheap and good enough. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I think like the lowest, like their basic Intel GPUs like 250.
Yeah, like $250, $300.
And it'll get you 1080p 60 frames per second.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, I don't know what to say, man, but I mean, that's the world we're living in now, you know? What else can I say except mean, that's the world we live in today. I mean, what else? What else can I say?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, here's what I'll say. I wish that this didn't happen because if you, I mean, think about it. If you build a new PC, right? Right, you build a new PC.
So you build a new PC.
You build a new PC, right? Like, yeah, I'm gonna build a new PC, right?
Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
from scratch, from the ground up. Okay, you build a new PC. Let's say you put, uh, let's say you put like, let's see, what's a good amount of money to put in a new PC? Let's say you put like $300 plus. Let's say you get like a $300 $400 motherboard. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's just the motherboard. Let's say you get like a $200 case. Okay, you get a, once you get like the hardware, the software, like once you get all the, like all the hard drives, whether they be SSDs or conventional hard drives, all that shit. Once you get all that shit, let's say you spent like, you know, PSU, all that stuff. You spent like $2,000, $3,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got the damn you got the damn graphics card. That is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly a lot of money.
And you lose it because somebody just, somebody decided to just throw some shit together, which is what they did. What did they care?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, it'll be okay. It's like, are you sure about that? Because these people lost like a lot of money. It doesn't matter. And that's the sad thing, right? And I mean, that's the lowest end. That's the lowest in spectrum. Like you just lose your PC. What if your house catches on fire?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, be a situation where when it starts burning, it's not going to stop burning.
Nah, man. And you can't put out an electrical fire just by like throwing some water on the
Water.
shit.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that'll make an electric fire worse if you throw water on it.
Well, I mean, like I said, I would hate to be the guy to have to sit, or the guy to have to recall all these back, because I would be looking at my samurai sword, wondering if I had to commit seppuku. Because these
Oh
cards,
yeah,
this is a big, this is,
it's a lot of
I,
money.
it's a lot of money you're gonna lose.
Yeah, Nvidia kind of rushed their shit out, and they really should have. They really should have waited.
Wanted to be AMD.
No, no, I strongly believe that this was an Intel thing.
Oh, they wanted to get out in front of Intel.
Well, both AMD and Intel, I think.
Yeah.
I'm under the belief. I think it was both AMD and Intel. They were like, we have got to make sure that we got to make sure that they can't, you know.
You know, gotta make sure they can't beat us.
Yeah,
Gotta make sure that
we
yeah.
got to get our shit out. And it's like, do you though? Because I mean, from what I've been able to see, y'all have just been fucking up. Like, they had to unlaunch a card. Now another card starting fires and shit. I mean, I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Like, if shit is going down that fast, I don't know where to go, man. You know, like,
Well, I mean,
I mean, this is. I mean, do you think this could be as big a problem as the Red Ring of Death was for Microsoft with the 360?
possibly. I
Because if
mean,
it's burning people's houses down, I mean, if it gets to the point where it's burning people's houses down, that's some serious shit right there.
yeah.
You know, and then you factor in the unlaunching of an entire graphics card lineup. You know, they literally unlaunched an entire graphics card. Just oh, we fucked up. We'll take that back now. I mean, have you ever heard of some shit like that? Them unlaunching a graphics card?
Um, no. I mean, it is. They didn't want to say delayed, because that would look too bad. So somebody, in all of their infinite wisdom, decided we'll call it on launch because that won't sound as bad.
I mean, it would have
But
been better
it
for
makes
them to
you sound.
just delay it. It just
Yeah,
said, you know, no, sorry, go ahead.
it makes them sound incompetent when they say stuff like that.
Yeah,
On launch.
that's some
Yeah, go
Amazon
ahead.
shit. Remember that game they unlaunched?
Yeah,
Like it was out for like 3 months and they unlaunched it and they're like, oh, it's going back into beta. We got to fix it. And it turned out, no, they just canceled it.
yeah,
I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, how do you? I mean, could you imagine that?
yeah,
Like, could you imagine if you could do that in real life? Like, hey, here's a test. Man, I fucked up on that paper. I know I got a D. Can I take that paper back and redo it? Like 2 months after I launched it, after I turned it in. Like, that's basically what they did.
yeah,
I mean, what type of bullshit is this? I mean, this is the most fucked up shit I've ever seen before in my life. I mean, it's convoluted. And
yeah. I
Nvidia just
mean,
kind of, you know, oh, we'll just roll with it. I'm like, how you going, like, for real, how you just gonna do that, you know?
yeah,
But they did. They did just do it.
yeah. And you know, I don't know. I think Nvidia's lost a large deal of faith within the last few years. I think really the only reason people buy their cards is because
Name brand.
they name brand recognition, and there's this idea that they've brainwashed people into thinking that. I actually wouldn't say brainwashed. But people are convinced that they're the most reliable, and plus, a lot of games have that NVIDIA flash the way it's meant to be played. So you're kind of gimping yourself. You feel like you're gimping yourself in an AMD card, uh, versus an Nvidia card, since Nvidia has more deals with a lot of these gaming companies. But I don't know. Hopefully that changes. Hopefully Nvidia in time, we're not seen as the uh, uh, basically. I just hope there's more competition in the GPU market again.
Yeah, I mean that's why everyone was like, "Oh my god, Intel's graphic card sucks." I'm like, "Yeah, but I mean you get decent performance for like $250." Whereas
Yeah,
Nvidia wants you to sell your firstborn child. Like
yeah,
even their quote unquote, even Nvidia's quote unquote lower end, more economic, like budget friendly cards aren't cheap.
yeah,
Like I think their lowest end's like $800. That's not cheap. For some people, $800 is their rent, or a good chunk, not the rent, but like a good chunk of their rent, right?
yeah,
Because if you have an apartment and your rent is like, say what's a good price for let's say your rent is like $1,200 a month. Okay, it's $1,200 a month. $800 is literally 2/3 of your rent.
yeah,
That's like, and even if you aren't paying rent, that is literally like that's multiple bills, and not small bills either. That's like decent sized bills.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the price of the 4090 is some
Ridiculous.
places. Yeah, it's a month is a month's worth of rent in some places. But I mean, it's not exactly. It's a Halo product. It's for people that $1,600. It's no object. Best of the best. I want peak performance. Buy the latest Intel chip. Buy the most amount of RAM you can fit in your card. Buy the card. Buy the big. It's obviously a Halo product. It's the product that they want. To move a relatively decent amount of. So and people will foolishly enough buy one, and then the 4080 will come out, and then you'll realize that you're wasting your money because the thing is, right? So if you go to like a 3060 to a 3070, there's this significant there's relatively a there's a noticeable gap. You go from like a 3070 to like a 3080 Ti, noticeable gap. Once you go past the 3080 Ti and 3090, you're just throwing away. And going to the 3090, you're just throwing away money after that. You're
Well,
just throwing it away because the gap isn't as now that you get diminishing returns.
I was
That's
gonna
probably how
say,
it's going to be with the 40 series.
well, and don't forget, like you can't just these graphics cards are so substantially more of a upgrade, like to the architecture and everything like that. You would have to spend money to get a new like you do better building a new PC and putting this shit in it than trying to
Yeah,
upgrade the PC you already have.
yeah. My CPU would severely bottleneck that GPU. If I were to get it, I would have to get a new CPU in order to use that GPU to its fullest.
Yeah, and
So,
probably a new motherboard and a new
yeah,
case.
obviously a new motherboard. Yeah, you need a new case because the cars are super big. I mean, you'd probably have to get a full tower, which I think those are kind of hard to find. They don't sell those. You don't
You
see
can
those as
buy them.
much unless you're like,
You can buy them. You just go online.
yeah. But yeah,
Uh,
you'd have to get a full tower to
eh,
fit
I mean,
those
but I'm gonna
cars.
keep it real. If I'm gonna build a PC these days, I'm gonna go full tower anyway.
Yeah.
Just because, like, if you have a full tower, if you have to, cable management is easier with a full tower. If you want to clean the tower, it's easier to open shit up, move stuff around, take parts out, put parts in. Than sitting there doing that, Because I watch on YouTube these people like, oh, I did a mini PC build. I'm like, why? Why would you want to fit like really good shit with like very bad
Yeah, it's for the minimalistic appeal. They like their they like that minimal feeling where you have a setup where you can barely see your PC. You have a lot of room. Uh, yeah, so some of these mini towers have gotten better. But it's a pain to try to. It can be a pain depending on the case. Um,
yeah.
it can be a pain, but there are some really good mini PC cases where basically you can take off any panel and you could
Oh
practically
yeah.
use it as a test bench.
Yeah, but those are new. That like back in
Yeah.
the day, because I remember back in the day where all you had were full and halves, and you'd sit there and try and pop that metal panel out and scrape the shit out of your hand. Oh god,
Oh
don't get
yeah,
me
I
started on that shit.
yeah, old PCs. Oh man, I don't know how people did it because
That's all we
I
had. That's how we did it. That's all we had. It's like,
that's
oh,
true.
well, I'm gonna have to go in
What?
here. Like, if you, oh man, don't get me started. Back in the day, it's like, oh, let me go in here and do this. Oh man, you'd hurt your hands. Your hands be, your arm get all scratched up and shit. It was not fun back in the day. It really was not.
People don't know how good they have it now with building PCs because I had to do something with an old PC and especially if it's a pre-built, it's a royal pain in the ass.
Well, it depends
Like
on the pre-built. Because if you get a decent pre-built, it's actually not that bad because the thing about a decent pre-built is that you can just if you get a decent pre-built PC, what'll happen is that it'll be built well enough that all you got to do is just open stuff up, maybe clean it out a little bit. But if you get a shitty pre-built PC, oh man, where someone just kind of half-assed built the shit, oh boy, you're not gonna have a good time. I'll tell you that right now. Life is not gonna be fun for you.
yeah,
And I've seen it. Like people are like, oh, what are you talking about? Let me explain something to you. If you've ever had a pre-built PC and you open up the case to like put in a new hard drive or maybe the hard drive died or something, and you take that shit out and it's just a mass of wires and half-ass like just a mess. And you're like, what the fuck? Who put this together? Because you know a human had to assemble this. A machine
yeah.
would have been more precise.
Oh, they didn't have any of the I was looking at a pre-built. They didn't have any of the fancy um cable management things that a lot of your newer cases have. It was just like you had the front panel and then you just had the back panel.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, but I mean,
yeah, I
like,
mean you didn't have a detachable back panel.
yeah, but even back then, that's still kind of bullshit because you had zip ties. There was such a
Yeah,
thing as cable management back then. Just people didn't want to do it. Like, if you had a
yeah,
shitty, because a lot of the people who were building PCs back then fucking didn't know how to build PCs. They just threw some shit together.
yeah. Hmm?
Because you'd be looking at the shit, it's like, are you sure this is okay? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I was like, are you sure? Because this is kind of fucked up. Oh no, it looks good to me. It's like, how does this look good to you? Explain to me how these cables hanging around like this is a good thing. Please. I would love to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
And if you say something, they get mad. It's like, oh, don't say that. Don't be talking about my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this console. It's like, well, I don't give a shit if you love the console. It's not good. I mean, you know, I still say the best. I still say um, the best OS I've ever had, in my opinion, was still my Windows XP build. Love Windows XP, even now. Because a lot of the modern shit that people like about PCs, XP could do, but with way less overhead than what we have now.
Yeah.
Like you could XP, you could have programs that would be cutting up, that could be rendering videos, record a podcast, all that shit, and it would only use like 10-15% of your RAM. This shit now, like you use Windows now, you could have two web browsers open. It's using 30-40%.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I've got like 64 gigs of RAM. There's no excuse for this.
Yeah.
Why? You just suck. You're terrible. You're a piece of shit. And if you say that, people get mad. Oh, don't say that. It's like, come on, man. You know what it is. But yeah. Yeah, Anyway, I think that was a fun topic. Anything else you want to discuss? Any movies you're looking forward to? Any TV shows you're like, why aren't people talking about this?
No, not quite. Really, I don't really keep up with TV shows and movies as much as I used to. But
I got one.
yeah. What about
Andor.
you?
Andor.
What's that
Andor is
about?
really good.
What about Black Adam? How was that?
Yeah, I saw it. I was not impressed with it.
Oh,
Eh. I know some people might like it. I'm not one of those people. I was like, it's okay. The problem, in my opinion, the problem with Black Adam is they want The Rock to be a hero,
yeah,
and yet he does these clearly villainous things where I'm like, he's clearly a villain, so why are you trying to make him into a hero?
yeah,
Like if you're gonna have someone going around killing people in horrific ways, that's a villain.
yeah,
Like I call it the DC problem. Because DC loves doing this. They will have someone do clearly villainous shit, but because they want you to root for them, they'll say, "Oh well, they're just complicated or some shit." It's like they just murdered a whole bunch of people.
yeah.
Like, this is a villain. So yeah, Black Adam was like a whole bunch of who the fuck is this, and why should I care about them?
Yeah.
You know, and I don't mean Black Adam. I mean like, cause even though I'm not a huge Shazam fan, I know who Black Adam is. He's a Shazam villain. I'm talking like the other characters. It's like, okay, Doctor Fate and Hawkman, but it's like it's like they have their own interpretation of these characters. I'm like, who the fuck is this again? I don't know.
Oh. Yeah. So they were unrecognizable from the comic books. You felt.
No, I just didn't know who the fuck they were. It's like okay, you have Doctor Fate. Doctor Fate is essentially kind of like a he's essentially kind of like a he's like Doctor Strange for the DC universe.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but I'm like, okay. And he's played by Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan knows he's in some shit, but he's like, I'm trying to make some money.
Yeah.
And I'm not against. Look, listen. I'm not one of those people who's against people making money. Hey, dude wants to make money. Let him make some damn money. I don't care. But I mean, like, they've got my man Aldous Hodge. If you don't know who Aldous Hodge is, he's a character actor. He made it big playing uh like a nerd hacker in the syndicated TV show Leverage.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, oh well, I like this show. I always thought it was kind of cool, and I like Aldous Hodge because he seems like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
But goddamn, despite him being a cool dude, like I don't see him as Hawkman. If you get my drift.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just heard people talking about it yesterday. It seemed like there's one person that liked the movie, but
I mean, look,
then I
man.
saw something. Then I saw something on, surfing through the news and stuff, like a headline saying Black Adam is the worst movie ever.
Ah, I
God
mean, like
damn.
that's the thing. It's not the worst movie ever. It's just not great. Now I'll tell you what was a steaming pile of dog shit.
What's that?
Man of Steel.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Isn't that a
fucking
dead
terrible.
horse at this point, though?
What?
Isn't that a dead horse at this point? I know you got umbrage with that movie, but
But I'm just like, people are like, oh, this is the worst. No, that movie was bad because that movie character assassinated Superman
yeah,
and Ma and Pa Kent. Like,
yeah,
I mean, like if you have a movie that can make Ma and Pa Kent and Superman into shitty characters, that's some strong shit. When Batman v Superman came out, and you had Batman just murdering people, casually just killing everybody.
yeah.
I wasn't even mad. I was just like, yeah, okay, all right, okay. I guess we're doing that now. You know, it's like basically. You know, it's like, oh, you're just killing everybody. It's like, oh shit, yes. we went from a Batman who's like, I'm not gonna kill anybody. Well, actually, no, because Tim Burton's Batman murdered the shit out of people all the time. Like you watch the first Batman movie, he kills so many people in that movie, and in Batman 2, oh man, he kills so many people in that movie. Like he takes delight in killing people in that second movie. You know, like there's a scene in that second movie where this big fat clown dude with dynamite is like trying to start shit, and Batman punches the dude, and like he just backs up and smiles, and the guy's like, "What are you smiling at?" And he looks down, and he pulled all of the debt charges on the dude's dynamite, and he punches the guy down into a cellar. I'm like, God damn! There's a dude who's a fire eater who's blowing fire. Batman uses the jet turbine on the back of the Batmobile to burn the dude up. I mean, like, really? Batman Returns is kind of a dark movie. Batman's kind of an asshole in that movie. But Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman's fucking amazing. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, Black Adam isn't terrible. It's not the worst one ever. The problem with Black Adam, like, remember how superhero movies were in 2005?
Yeah.
That's the problem with Black Adam. It's the end conclusion, the writing, the script feels like something that came out of 2005. And even Marvel has moved beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else has moved beyond that, except Black Adam is some shit from like 15 years ago, which isn't surprising considering that The Rock has been trying to get this movie made in some way, shape, or form for 15 years. So it makes sense that the movie would feel like some shit from 15 years ago, because it is some shit from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You know. Now, you know what I really want, man? You know, what I really want is a good Superman movie. Keyword, good.
Yeah.
Good Superman movie. All right? I don't want any more fucking, what's it called? You know. And if you want to keep the budget low, I was talking with one of my employees like last week, and we were talking about how DC fucked up Superman. I said if they want to keep the budget low, do some Batman Begins type shit, or like Matt Reeves' The Batman, where it's like you have Superman when he's only just in Metropolis. He's still like more reticent to show his powers. So like he'll occasionally pop out and do some shit, but most of the time it's like people just see a flash of, you know, him using super speed to do some shit. You know? Like, hey, I was about to fall, some dude grabbed me and then put me on the ground. I don't know who he was, but he was wearing red, blue, and yellow. That's all I know, man. He had an S on his chest. You know, it's like some shit like that. Just keep it, you know. But will they do that? Probably not, because the new CEO is a dick. He's a fucking dick, mate.
Yeah.
I like to participate.
That's not good. What? You know, they need.
I like to participate in this project.
In there to save their get a cinematic universe started.
I mean, the thing is that Warner Brothers was so desperate to have what Marvel had without realizing that the reason the Marvel Cinematic Universe worked is because they started out with one good movie, which was the first Iron Man. All it takes is one good movie, and yet they fucked it up because the first movie that was supposed to, like, they kept on having false starts. Because remember, like, everyone thinks Man of Steel was the start of the DC Cinematic Universe. It wasn't. It was something worse that was than Man of Steel. It was Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And that movie was terrible. It was bad in so many ways. First of all, like it was bad marketing because unless you're like a hardcore DC fan, you're not gonna know who the fuck Hal Jordan is.
Yeah.
Like the popular, like for most people in pop culture, the Green Lantern that they knew was Jon Stewart from the animated series. So they would have been smarter doing Jon Stewart as Green Lantern. But they couldn't even get that right. They just kept on fucking up. You know, it's like, how can we fuck up something that should have been a simple slam dunk? Oh, we'll fuck it up again.
Because I was a student in an art
Yeah.
school.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Is it going to get better? I don't know. I think David Zaslav is going to continue to gut HBO Max, which before I would have said, hey, HBO Max is a really good price point for your thing. Like, you don't need Netflix unless Netflix comes up with something good. Just, get on Netflix, binge it, and then drop it. But seeing how David Zaslav and his people are just cutting HBO to the fucking bone, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's still some really good content on HBO Max, but it's getting filled with that Discovery bullshit. Like, hey, you want to see Chip and his wife remodel a house? Fuck no. Fuck no, I don't. The only reality show I want to see HBO bring back is Real Sex and Taxi Cab Confessions.
Yeah.
That's because those were just funny. It's like, why are you oversharing all this shit with a taxi cab driver? Why would you do that? Why don't you keep that shit to yourself? How about you do that?
People just don't know what else to do with themselves, I guess.
People up there oversharing. Anyway, I think we've exhausted this impromptu cast. Anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up, sir? Anything you wanna share with the, be like, hey man, y'all need to know about this.
Yeah, Project Console. Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
All right.
Hope to see you guys there.
All right. Be there or be square, bitches. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. We had an impromptu cast tonight. We were a little late, but that's on me. Thank you for joining this cast live. If you did, if you didn't, well, thank you for watching the recording of it. I'm gonna try and do I can't stream on Halloween because I work that day, and by the time I get home it's not going to be Halloween anymore. I'll try and record something for you guys for Halloween. I'll have it uploaded, so that means it's probably going to be me doing a playthrough of a Super Castlevania 4 because I'm crazy like that. So look forward to that. It's going to be like an hour, maybe an hour 15, because you can get through that game in this one sitting, which makes it great for a playthrough. Anyway, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, and